Welcome back to the channel. Today's another beautiful sunny day in southwest Minnesota. Very abnormal for this late in the season, but we're thankful because now that we're done combining, we have a bunch of power washing we got to do. Today I plan on power washing our 9R, hopefully get to the ripper, and if I have enough time, start cleaning on the grain cart and that tractor. But the first thing we're going to do this morning is the neighbor's got some room in his shed, so we're going to run both of our semis up there to park them in over the winter. We have two semis, the red and the white one, but it seemed like this fall, just because of the grain pit we installed last summer, in soybeans we only ever used one, and in corn, other than a couple fields that we have more than 10 miles away from our place, we only ever used one as well. But it's definitely nice to have two, that way if one breaks down, but also in the spring and summer when we start hauling corn and soybeans in town, we have two trucks so we can get twice as much done. Got the trucks parked outside his shed. He's gonna back them in later whenever and however he wants to organize his stuff. But now I'm gonna head back in the truck, get a ride back from Mom. We're gonna head back to the farm and start cleaning. Before I can wash the grain cart, there's usually a little bit of corn that's left down at the bottom of the gate. So I'm gonna manually open the gate with the crank here to run that little bit of corn out. That way it doesn't sit in there rotten all over the winter. It's hardly even a bushel of corn that was in there, but now it's time to start washing. To do the effective and correct job of power washing in the fall, it almost takes two people. One to run the loader because the equipment's so high. So I'm gonna raise Dad up on the loader. He's gonna keep running the power washer on. That way we can get the top of the cab and the unloading auger on the grain cart all shined up. If you guys can hardly see him, he's right there. And it's pretty tough because he's trying to give me directions, sitting down here to back up and move side to side, but we're making her work. And now the soap cannons come out, so now we're putting a little bit of soap on the grain cart and the tractor. This way it'll take the last of the mud and grime off the equipment. Now that I got the grain cart all cleaned up, the next thing I want to get cleaned up is our ripper. The hardest part of this is all this mud we got built up here in the baskets. So I'm going to run this out to a field behind the house, try to knock off as much mud as possible before I get the power washer out and start washing this thing. It wasn't as easy as I had hoped to get some of this mud out of these baskets. I wanted them to all look like this, where there's no mud in between them. But unfortunately, it was harder than I thought. So I'm just gonna try to use the power washer to knock the rest of that off of there before I park this in the shed. Before I start to power wash this, my mom wanted to try just wetting it down a little bit with the garden hose. And then we're just gonna try to pry some of that mud out of there rather than hitting it with the power washer and mud flying every which way. We're gonna try something else first. Slowly but surely getting the mud out of here. It's not the most fun job on the farm, but it's something that's got to be done. Well, it's safe to say, using the water and prying with a little bit of elbow grease, we got all the mud out of there. So now I should be able to power wash the rest of the ripper off. But before I do, gotta raise Dad up. He's gonna start and finish power washing on the combine. combine, it's time to start washing off the ripper. I'm just gonna wash this off in the middle of the yard because I don't need to use the hot water over at the shop, and I don't want all the mud sitting in front of the shop because it'll eventually get tracked into the shop. So we're just gonna wash it off in the middle of the yard here. Kind of like all the dirt on my face, I didn't get all the dirt off the ripper either, but I spent 2 hours power washing, trying to get it clean. I'm gonna call that good enough. Reality is, we're gonna take it out of the shed, get it dirty again next year. So I'm gonna unhook this thing, that way we can put it away for the year. Before I unhook the ripper, I got these at a farm show this summer that I wanna put on the hydraulic hoses. But rather than me telling you guys what these are actually used for, once I show you guys where I put them, let's see if you guys can guess down below in the comments why I'm installing these little rubber deals on the hydraulic hoses. There we go. I got them on each of the hydraulic hoses now. And like I said, take your guess down below in the comments of what the purpose is of those little things that I just put on all the hydraulic hoses. We'll see who gets it first. And now it's time to clean the four-wheel drive. I'm gonna bring the power washer back over here to the shop because I want to use hot water and soft water. That way it doesn't leave hot water stains on the four-wheel drive. So we'll get the power washer set up, start washing the last piece of equipment. Now that we're done washing machinery for the year, it's time to start backing the equipment into our shed. We just put the grain cart into its new resting home for the next 6 months. Now we're gonna see if we can put the corn head here in the back corner of the shed. Now that we got the corn head parked in the corner, we're gonna try to get our chisel plow in front of this. Usually year to year we like to keep the shed in the same order just because it makes it easier when we're stacking equipment in and taking equipment out to know where things are going to fit inside the shed. Next thing we're gonna hook up to and put away is the ripper. Our ripper's hopefully gonna fit in here between the field cultivator, it's getting close there, and the packer. We still gotta get the 560 out, move that over to the shop, that way we can work on it in the winter, but right now we're trying to get the ripper in. Oh! That's good! Not entirely sure why the hitch moves like that once we get it on a hook from the tractor, especially because we have blocks both on the front and back side of each of the wheels. But as you saw, it definitely moves a little bit when we unhook it from the tractor. This year with the ripper, we didn't break as much stuff compared to last year just because the ground conditions were a little bit softer because it wasn't nearly as dry as it was last year. So that was nice because last year we broke a bunch of these C-shanks, which are about $200 a piece. It gets spendy fixing those every couple days. Well, we ran out of time today to get everything packed away into the big machine shed like I had hoped. So I just pulled the 9620R into the shop. Still got to wipe down the windows on the inside and then vacuum out everything just so next spring when I hop in there, it's nice and clean and ready to go. Overall, today was a successful day of washing. It's never the most fun job, but it's a job you kind of appreciate in the spring when you open up the shed doors to all the equipment nice and washed up and ready to roll for another season. But that's going to be it for today's video of HiTech Farmer. If you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that button down below. Coming up on 1,000. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.